Good afternoon, one and all. This session is being hosted by Dr. Sangmesh. Uh, he's an incubation manager, BMS Incubation Center, assistant professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, BMS IT and M. Uh, I'll just share his brief biodata. Dr. Sangmesh has completed his PhD in mechanical engineering from VTU, Belagavi. His area of doctoral research is development of a novel cooling system used for electronic cooling application. A visionary professional, served in academics, incubation linked intellectual property management, overall 8 years of professional experience dealing with techno-commercial activities of different organizations like academic, corporate groups, and central government. He was instrumental in establishment of incubation center supported by Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog, Government of India. He has established numerous industry academic partnership and collaboration with foreign universities. He is also member of IPR think tank constituted by DIPP, Government of India. Dr. Sangamesh is a passionate social reformer, also founder, trustee, Samanvita Trust, and State Joint Secretary, ISTE, Karnataka chapter. He's a counselor and an educational columnist in print and electronic media. He has many international publications to his credit in journals of high repute. He has delivered several invited talks on various scientific topics and skill development, entrepreneurship awareness camp. He also has the experience of executing projects being funded by various agencies such as Niti Aayog, Government of India, DST, MSME, and VGST, and is currently engaged in planning, implementation, and monitoring of incubation activities at BMS IT. Thank you, sir. We thank you on behalf of Department of Mechanical Engineering. We thank you for accepting our invitation and delivering the talk today for this session 3 of day 1. Thank you, sir. We welcome you. And the virtual stage is yours, sir. Dr. Sangmesh?
I'm audible, sir?
Yeah, you can carry on, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for the invitation, sir. Special thanks to Madam for the invitation for taking the part as a speaker in this FTP. I'll just mute myself, sir, so that the bandwidth can flow in a proper. Yeah, we all know that today I welcome all the participants for this today's FTP. I think it has started from morning. As we know that I'll be giving a talk on the agriculture waste, which is going to be a very exciting bio-based raw material that can be used for a variety of engineering applications, not only packaging industry, but definitely it can be used for a variety of applications. We all know that crop residue burning is causing a serious issue. It's a major contributor to air pollution and problem, particularly in the north part, in the North India. The maybe the several possible explanation for increasing this, we call this as a CRB, crop residue burning. So this exists, because of the public domain. Maybe it is because of the mechanization in the harvesting, or too much of mechanization in cultivation, harvesting in the agriculture field. And secondly, this is mainly generating because of the labor shortage in the field. And also there is a seasonal and very laws which are going to be regulating the paddy cultivation, all that.
Excuse me,
For
sir.
that.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt. Your voice is feeble, sir. Can you speak a bit louder?
Am I audible right now? Am I audible properly now? Is this fine, sir?
It's still feeble, sir.
Second. Now, sir?
Yeah, now it's fine, sir.
Yeah, thank you. So, as I was saying, crop residue burning is a major contributor for air pollution, particularly in the North country. This is because of the reason that, because of the labor shortage in the field, and also too much of mechanization in the farming process. Maybe it is in the field that is starting from its cultivation, harvesting, and cleaning the field for the in the next stage. So, and this is particularly because of the labor shortage, seasonal and policy with respect to cultivation and all that. Just I wanted to go ahead with a small quote. As recently, the Supreme Court, judged by, headed by three-bench committee, that is Arun Mishra, he said that we all know that every day in the newspaper we get the news that Delhi is becoming a gas chamber. Delhi is becoming a gas chamber. That is because of because of the crop residues which are going to be generated in and around the Delhi. That is particularly in Haryana, Uttarakhand, and all that. All CRB which is going to be generated, which simply burned in the field, and because of that, the Delhi is becoming a gas chamber. So, quoting to this, the Supreme Court said that rather than killing the people in Delhi, killing the people in Delhi every day, it is better to take some disturbance I have. Can you just mute yourself? Somebody is. So the Supreme Court itself, said that it is better to kill the people by taking some explosive rather than killing every day. So this was the quote which is made by Supreme Court, and this is not only in the Delhi, in majority of the part of even in the southern also, particularly Uttar Karnataka. Now, farmers they grow for red gram, pigeon pea, sugar cane, bagasse, rice paddy, and all that. So most of the time, these crops generates enormous amount of agriculture waste. So this is becoming a very challenging these days. Agriculture residues are in the present days. The residues are being used to make it more synthetic composites. So these resources which are going to be just go as a waste, or sometimes it is also creating a ecological imbalance in the earth. So to as a remedy for this, we can definitely come up with a very good value based product, value added product from these waste, as a substitute for only as a substitute for the synthetic material, or any poly based materials. So the whole next presentation, I'll keep it for half an hour, that is 30 to 45 minutes, and then followed by some question and answers in case we have. So I'll be just going in detail with some research potential in the biodegradable materials and the research motive. Also, I'll be looking upon some of the objectives and methods and material, and then also I'll be discussing on the some part of results and discussions that is based on the waste to value approach. And finally, these materials can be connected to as a sustainable product for connecting to various industrial applications. So as we know that if you look at the total market scenario, we know that global composite market is going to be increasing uh, every day, and it is going to be from further there will be an increase of 9% close to from 2017 to 25. So particularly in the area of aviation, automotive, and construction in the industries, and this is setting a very pace very faster than the industry average that is taking place every year. So this means that there is going to be an increased requirement for the low weight composites in the particularly in the area of construction and automotive industries. And of course, use of non-fossil based polymers, maybe cellulose and other biopolymers, could be the novel drivers that can give an extra push to the industries in the area of material. So as we know that, there is a huge polymer-based, there is a huge push which is being given for polymer-based composites in the automotive industries, and it is going to be expected to be raise the market size of 6.4 billion to 11.6 billion by the end of 2025. So this is the expected rate of the demand which is going to be generating for polymer-based composites. So this really maybe replacing with all these polymer based material with even slightly by 5% or 10% with a natural fiber based material really adds a value to the on one side with the fulfilling the demand, and the secondly on the generating the a small revenue for the farmers, that farmers are the backbone of this country. So a small revenue we can be able to generate for them as a byproduct. So the construction industry is also shifting a very in a very greener approach. The way the buildings are being built now are coming up now. Particularly glass fiber composites have been of course proved to be economically much more viable than the biocomposite. But however, given the potential, with respect to its availability of raw material, financial feasibility of the modern biocomposites, that really creates a new ventures in the market. For the reason for being this is since it is eco-friendly, possess very unique properties. There is unique properties, and there's going to be tremendous potential for biocomposites as a substitution for the glass fiber composites. So if you look at the image here, I have taken it maybe particularly for automotive industries. Maybe it can be door panel, roof panel, hood, or the bumper. So all these materials earlier used to be come up with a uh, uh, only the PP material, or maybe it is going to be polyethylene or polypropylene, all that. I mean to say it is polypropylene based materials. But today, it is amalgamation of all. It is done with the carbon fibers, epoxy, is and glass fibers. So maybe some portion of addition of bio-based material, maybe if it is just incorporating this, really is going to be create a very economic maybe will leads to increase the economical conditions of the farmers. So even on the other side, there is a e-waste which is being generated. It is also a serious issue which is taking place. Maybe it is raised by every year. It is going to be raised by 3 to 5%. Particularly in the semiconductor devices that we extensively used in various electronic gadgets and all that. So maybe replacing these semiconductors with the biocomposite material also going to be a very alternative resource. And of course, as we know that in electronic semiconductor devices, recycling is becoming a very challenging one. But whereas if you just replace with these semiconductors into bio-based semiconductors, probably is also quite interesting. So we all know that as we discussed in the first slide, our agriculture residues are enormously it is being generated. There are due to three of the reasons basically. These were earlier used to be used as a fuel, or going to be fodder for animals and all that. They used to be used for, basically they used to use it for the feed or fodder for the animals and all that. But today, because of mechanization in the farming field, uh, that is being completely replaced. and some of the and also some of them were earlier used to use it for organic fertilizer for the soil enrichment and all that they were using. But today it is being, and in some of the cases also, particularly in north state, we do use it for just one of the image I have taken it here. It's a red gram crop. It is very extensively we grow it in Uttar Karnataka, and small huts were used to be formed using this red grams and other agri waste. Through all these agri waste, one or the other way, it is being used for their day-to-day activities. But today all these, and some of the time they also use this for use it for everyday cooking applications. They used to cook the food with the help of this. But because of the extensive supply of all the uh, 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 yeah, gas and all that, so that also is being taken. I means to say that the residues are the way it is being utilized because of the mechanization in the farming field. It is generated very enormous. It is inevitably generated, and it is going to be available at a very low cost. It is being available, and these residues are readily available, which are very inexpensive, which are also having the lignocellulosic fiber resources. Maybe it is in different feed. Maybe it is wheat, rice, jute, cotton, oil seeds, bagasse, and many other seeds like soya bean and all that. So all these are having a very lignocellulosic fiber resources. Of course, it is a very short fiber. We do get it out of it, but of course, it is also equally it is going to have the properties anyway that we will be discussing in the next slides. So these residues are basically lignocellulosic in nature, and which are contain very valuable biopolymers. Maybe it is such as cellulose, hemicellulose, lignin, proteins, all and also carbohydrates. So these residues and its co-products can be currently it is going to be disposal practices which are involving the burning these residues as a low cost fuel, or it is going to be burning in the ground. This is one thing. Secondly, it is uh, this burning is a major cause for environmental pollution, which has again further it is creating a ecological imbalance in the ecological imbalance, creating a acid rain. It is changing the seasonal pattern, rain pattern, and all that. It is also creating a seasonal imbalance and all that. So that is there's a second issue, and also we are having a loss of valuable raw materials. We are also it's also a low value addition, and it is also decreasing the income for farming. So these adverse impacts on the humans and animal health also it is creating a serious health issues on the human and animal. So these adverse effects which is being brought as a byproduct from the farming applications can be convert that into a value based value added raw material which can be used for variety of applications. So these are the few material which I have listed out that can be used as a potential raw material for developing the biodegradable material. So it can be banana fiber. Of course, we are all very familiar with this. These banana fibers are currently, even we do get the banana plates and all that. But of course, it is a very low value material. It is further enrichment or further development of fibers extracting from the banana, and then banana raw material, and then developing into a value added product really yields a better result, and which also helps to circular economy. So this banana fiber, which has got 43% of cellulose, 38% of hemicellulose, 9% of lignin, 8.3% of ash moisture, and also the moisture absorption is 40%. And of course, if you look at the tensile strength of this banana fiber is 142.9 megapascal. So equally, it is having a very good mechanical tensile properties, all that. Maybe we can just find out the good applications which involves some engineering in it, really lead to some good results. Similarly, the Sabai gases, Sabai grass, which is having 50% cellulose, again 60% lignin. So comparatively, if you look at, and more importantly, this is very much good material for which is very highly resistant to UV and heat. That is up to 244 degrees Celsius. It can withstand the temperature of 244 degrees Celsius. Maybe identifying the suitable applications for thermal material, maybe thermal applications could lead to some better results here also. So it has also got very excellent flexibility, strength, and all that comparatively. Similarly, the bagasse is very much in a very extensive, it generates very enormous amount of raw material out of the sugar cane, which generates around 1.7 billion tons, which is normally a very one applications from the bagasse is having a practice of generating the ethanol. So this is one of the application, but most of the time these bagasse is being simply burnt in the sugarcane industry and all that. So this also has got the very good properties, mechanical and other properties. Maybe in spite of the high porosity, it is having a very high flexural strength and all that. It's similarly mulberry stems. These also getting a very high attentions these days because because of its very abundant availability of the material. Uh, Extracting the mulberry barks, which are going to be accounted for very to have a very medicinal impacts, including anti-HIV, anti-oxidative properties, and uh, uh, some of the asthma issues and all that. So another one is groundnut shell. As we know that groundnut shell, which is going to be again removed, and it is just wasted. So this can also be, and even the disposal is also creates a major issue in this. So these groundnut shells also can be used as a raw material, which is also equally having a very good properties. Even the rice husk, most of the time, the rice straws which are going to be generated is most of the time it is 70%, 80% higher than the grains what we do get it from the farm. So I means to say that these rice, wheat, sugarcane and all that, most of the time it is more, four times, three times more than the grains what do we get in the field. So if you look at the some of the properties with respect to tensile and flexural properties and some moisture absorption, if you look at, so I in this table what we can find it is that if these material also maybe not up to the mark if you compare to the poly based material, but of course equally it is also having a very good properties. So so y- as we know that there's a very vast research which is being taking place in the material, particularly in the alloys and all that. But of course even this also has got very vast material. Maybe uh, uh, the research focus need to be diverted towards to the biocomposites or biodegradable material in order to act as a substitute for the all allies material. So this is because of the inefficient usage of our the ecosystem, which create the as earlier said, it creates a catastrophic environmental impacts. Maybe it is climate change, flooding, and all that. So since it is generating a very vast amount, and it is being simply burned or burning in the earth, which of course it causes the environmental issues. So to prevent only one solution to prevent this is the uh, eco-friendly approach need to be adopted and come up with some valuable products out of it. So by this way, we can able to generate the circular economy, which can be established, which creates a rural youth empowerment can be taken can be enhanced or can be promoted, so that which we in this way we can fulfill the uh, uh, farmers income, maybe by double, or a small revenue uh, uh, can be generated using agri waste. So usage of these sustainable materials can potentially decrease the ecological contamination, owing to their biodegradability and all that. And composites now in these particular area are really picking up very interest recently for their high specific properties, lower cost, manufacturing flexibility, and of course, as it is typically opposite to polymer or metallic materials. So to overcome this, composites are recently being manufactured using numerous natural reinforcements and matrices. Nevertheless, there is going to be enormous potential to create a very unique composites and add a value to uh, waste material as a waste to wealth approach. So, as an initiative by government, government is also coming up with a policy on this, on the particularly the crop residue burnings. Earlier, we never used to have the policy for this, so that's why, particularly in the north state, particularly that area which are uh, around Delhi, maybe it is Haryana, Punjab, Uttarakhand, and all that. They used to, in an open field, they used to burn it. So government, in order to in order to overcome all such issues, government is also coming up with a policy, a national policy for management of crop residues. So these, in order to control the burning of the crop residues, to prevent the environmental degradation, also use the diversified use of crop residues for various applications. So government is also pushing very hard to this capacity building and creating awareness about all ill effects of the crop residue burnings and all that. It is going to be taken up under this initiative. So also it is formulating and it is also coming up and formulating and implementing of the suitable law, uh, legislative policies in order to measure to the curb these burning of the crop residue. So one of the best initiative which is being taken up by the government in order to curb these crop burnings. So using this crop burning, we can be able to convert this into value-added bio-based product. Are used already we have an existing market in this, but normally whatever the composites we do get, biodegradable composites, which are code to be 100% natural biocomposites, but they're not they're not going to be in 100% natural biocomposite, as because it all are uh, uh, all are synthetic composites. They told to be 100% biodegradable composite, but all are synthetic composites. These are not 100% natural biocomposite because they are claimed to be biocomposite, but in the real sense they are not 100% because they used to be mixed with all chemical modification, all that they do. So in order to avoid all these chemical modification, all that, as it is in its own form, we can be able to convert some value-added product out of it without creating pulping or without any modification in terms of chemical modification which is required. Also, this reduces the burning. This provides biodegradable material as an alternative to plastic waste. So plastics can farm for farmers. This helps to reduce the carbon footprint and of course the other sorts of emissions out of the burning. Significant opportunities can be created for rural employment. So basically, I have taken two applications in that directions. I will be discussing in the next 20 minutes. So basically to replace the, anyway, we have gone through this. So this is one of the packaging boxes we can come up with without creating, as earlier said, without creating any pulping or without creating any, without using any synthetic material in it. We can come up with a board which can be used for, or which can be used for, or in order to replace the any solid wood applications. We can come up with these materials which are going to be, of course, which without any affecting the any properties, maybe mechanical, flame resistance, sound absorptions, thermal resistance, and all that. Some disturbance I have. Yeah. So these are the packaging boxes, or this can be used for as ceiling tiles. As we know that synthetic materials we do use for these, for ceiling tiles and all that. We can do use these materials as a biocomposites. Of course, as we know that in any of the material we do have a reinforcement and matrix. Matrix is going to be act as a binder. A reinforcement is a material which holds all the strength part of it, and holding all the properties with respect to mechanical properties, tensile, compression, all that, which means to say that it carries the complete load here. So similar to this, we do use the binder material uh, as a material which come as a from the seeds. For example, soya bean, all groundnut and all that. After extracting these predominantly is used for, generating the oil. So after extracting, it has got, uh, very good material that can be used as a binder material. So here, so that we can replace the synthetic material here. So secondly, reinforcement material, reinforcement as one second. So as a reinforcement material, we can use, bagasse, rice straw, bagasse, rice straw, and all that can be used as a coir, banana fiber, coffee husk, rice husk, coffee husk, and all that can be used for these as the material. So we know that uh, these can be matrix can be, polypropylene, gluten, oil meals, protein from oil meals, and all that. Because after extracting the oil from the, either it is from the groundnut or from any other seeds, maybe soya bean or any other or seeds, if you extract the protein, still it has got, after extracting the oil also, it has got the very much high amount of proteins which is going to be available with these material, which has simply go as a waste. And most of the time it is going to be feed for use as a feeder, or is going to be used as a feed for the animals. But of course, uh, the number of animals are also gradually decreased currently. So this also just go as a waste. So this also can be used, which is having a very highly proteins that can be extracted from all these, and can be used for use as a binder material. So advantages, it is going to be water resistance, gluten is going to be easily available, oil meals are going to be abundant, and which are going to be cheap. Of course, it is going to be uh, uh, polypropylene is going to be non-biodegradable. Gluten is going to be inexpensive. Extraction of protein from oil meals is a very tedious task. So here, bagasse and other fibers are going to be easily available in huge quantities, very at a very cheap rate we do get. Uh, so here, matrix, we can use gluten, proteins, biopolyester, biopro. Now, interestingly, in this, there's an advancement which took place. Nowadays, biopolyester is also coming up in the market. Straight away, we can use it with the biopolyester and all that. Of course, we can expect it to be composite, develop the composites with the very unique properties, which can be further fabricated for customized product. The problem of hydrophilicity could be tackled with the use of biopolyesters here, because normally the water absorptivity will be very less if you use the proteins from oil yields or all oil seeds. So that can be avoided here. Use of polyesters can really could improve the acoustic and thermal properties. Of course, the reinforcements, it is having a very vast raw material. It is pigeon pea, rice straw, bagasse, coir, banana fiber. Fibers can be indigenously extracted from the non-traditional sources also can be done, right? Coffee husk and all that. And majority of these are, we do get it very tremendously in North Karnataka. So after developing this, after mixing with a as we do it in the any other material fabrication, similar to that, we can if you just in a some ratio with according to the ISO standard, if you just mix with the reinforcement and matrix material, further it can be molded in the compressing molding machine at a higher temperature rate with a certain load, with certain pressure. If you just compress it in the compression molding machines, further we do get the uh, uh, we do get the uh, we do get the material in this form initially. So this further can be tested it for variety of mechanical and other properties. Maybe it is flexure test, tensile, sound absorption test, thermal insulations, flame resistance, water absorptions, and further it can be tested for variety of applications that I have quoted here as food packaging boxes. As we know that Swiggy, because of the uh, uh, because of the urbanization today, there's a huge demand for packaging food rather than a natural or conventional food. So maybe it is Swiggy or Zomato and all that, they use the plastic material as a packaging box. Maybe that can be replaced with these material. But only the challenge is that it should not have any chemical modification, should not be done during its fabrication. That one thing we need to take care here. If at all you are using a 100% natural binder material, then we can go for these food packaging boxes. Of course, we can use ceiling tiles. Egg trays also can be replaced with synthetic material. Also, we can use it for pots. Normally, pots are plastic pots, and normally the all the sericulture department, they use the plastic trays for plant sampling and all that. So normally when they do place it in the earth, that is biodegradable. If you replace that with these material, definitely it is 100% biodegradable, so that it doesn't affect the uh, earth also. So these material can be tested for variety of properties, maybe density, pressure, time of compression, by taking the time into as a from a different time. We can be able to test it for different temperatures. We can be able to test it ratio of reinforcement with the ratio of volume of matrix and reinforcement can also be have a scope to test. Also, in case of fibers, of course, based on the length of the fibers is also can be tested. So these are the few results. As we know that mechanical properties for example, you have taken it as a banana fiber here of 20%, 30%, and 50%, which is resulted 300% in the flexure strength. That's what we can notice here. And also it is being tested for flame retardancy. As we know that synthetic material, uh, I think one image I have missed out here. If you compare the particularly for the ceiling tiles, uh, uh, most of the ceiling tiles are made up with the synthetic materials. If you burn the synthetic material with these composites, of course, these shows a no dripping of the flaming particles. But of course, banana fiber composites fabricated, which additionally loaded with the fiber retardants for better ratings. But The biocomposites can, self-extinguish without any falling debris, which could lessen the danger of a fire or breakthrough in the real life scenarios. So also it is being tested for dielectric properties. Dielectric properties, basically decreases with increasing temperature, and these lower dielectric values, as you can notice here in the figure, can be attributed to the lower moisture which is going to be present at higher temperature. But of course, at low moisture content, the dielectric value will be lower due to the reduced number of free electrons which affect the mobility. However, a lower dielectric values is going to be preferred in the integrated circuits as a lower value. So this is also one of the important aspect in this way we can study. And of course, the another one is the thermal dissipation. The thermal dissipation studies can also be taken up. And obviously, the dissipation will be much more high if you add the thickness of the composite, or if it is a increase the thickness of the composite. If we increase, definitely we'll have a higher heat dissipation, which leads to improve the dissipation rate. And also this would help to prevent the overheating of the components, and reduce the fire and all that. So as you can see here, the texture, whatever, we can also retain that without compromising that. But uh, uh, if you extract the fibers and then create into pulping, and with the pulping, because there is no common recipe for it, you can do it your own way. So maybe there is no common recipe to develop the composites here. We can do it, with creating a pulping, and developing the biocomposite. And the other way, we can do it without compromising or without changing its textures. We can develop it without pulping also can be taken up. But if you really if you wish to have the 100% biodegradable, then we need to go without pulping only. So also it is being tested for sound absorption. Unlike thermal insulation, we can also test it for sound insulation, which increases, as obviously it increases with the increase in the density of the material. So biodegradability of the composites can be tested for underwent moderate degradation over the course of 120 days. It is being tested, and there will be a weight loss of the composites. This is being measured with the weight loss of the composite. If it is a the very if there is a large weight loss, then of course the degradability, it enhances the degradability. In that way it is being measured. So these semi measures, which reveals that it is for 120 days of burial in soil. It is buried for 120 days, and the surface of these are going to be seems to be itched by microorganism in the soil, which leads to the weight loss. So in that way, we can measure the biodegradability test. So similarly, not only limited to these, we can do measure its surface morphology, thermal analysis, as I said, acoustic properties, thermal conductivity, fatigue, tensile, compression, flexure test, hydrophilicity, moisture absorption test. There is a huge scope for measuring the microbial activity test can also be taken up under this. Heat transferability, or heat dissipation, all that. Of course, and the applications part of it, if you look at, it can be attached to automotive dashboards, all signing boards, electronic goods, packaging of the electronic material. For they use it is extensively used for packers and movers, false ceiling, acoustic panels. We can also use for aerospace luggage bins, dielectric applications, and also can be used for biomedical applications, food packaging, sources and storage and all that. So of course, uh, it's an alternative solution to synthetic polymers. It's going to be sustainable approach, product driven market it is. So these are the few of the first one is a pot. This pot can be used in the as a natural uh, done with the natural naturally extracted fibers from the rice husk and rice straw, wheat straw, and all that. So that can be 100% biodegradable. That avoids the that helps the ecology. Second one is the boards. That boards can be used as a ceiling tiles and all that. And the plates, obviously, we can use it. So with this, I'll close my session. If you have any queries to be addressed, it is open to all the participants. Yes, sir. Any questions from the audience?
One question is, has the agri residue was used in practically anywhere as say packaging or other applications, as you have said?
Yes, sir. Definitely, we can use it, sir. There is no doubt, because any waste what is going to be generated as it is has got the mass, and that can be used as a raw material. And of course, uh, uh, it may be different. It can be connected to different applications. It may suits one applications. It may not suit the other one. For example, if you look at the food packaging applications, it may need not to the water absorptivity should be more. But in the case of packaging the electronic items, it may need not to be good at uh, it may need not to be good at water absorptivity. So in connecting the proper or suitable applications, it will have a demand.
Any other questions, participants?
Has it been applied to flame retardation? Suppose a fire rating of say at least half an hour or so.
Of course, sir, it is less only comparatively. It is also one of the challenges, sir, here. But maybe as an insulation material, we can also, as an insulating material or anything, any material which is at good at electric conductivity can be combined together and come up with a different material, if at all we are going with such issues.
Insulation for electricity and as well as heat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Sangamesh, there is a question by Shazia Siddiqui. She wants to know, only agriculture waste having cellulose can only be used for this purpose, or any other waste also?
Any other waste, madam, not particularly cellulose, any other, any.
Next, one more question from Samir Nimkar. What is maximum temperature at which this material can withstand?
It depends on each material. As we know that this also behaves like it is also similar to the wood only. There's nothing like, but it depends on different material. For example, I was saying in one of the material which has got very good at mulberry stems, which has got high temperature. It can withstand up to some high temperature, but others may be less. Maybe rice straw or all that, it is going to be lower comparatively.
Okay. One more question. Can cellulose contain material used to paper manufacturing?
Paper manufacturing already that is it is in practice, madam.
Okay. Participants, any other question? You are free to ask.
Sangamesh.
Yes, sir.
Say you have mentioned that burning of agriculture waste, it will reduce the soil fertility. How?
Yes, sir.
How it will reduce?
Sir, of course, it will have normally what happens, earlier used to be there is a microorganism, there is a process of microorganism which is going to be taking, if you just it acts as an organic fertilizer that obviously which increases the soil enrichment. But if you burn it, all microorganism which is at the soil will collapse. So definitely which will have a greater impact in the soil.
But normally in maybe if you look into paddy field and all that,
Yes, sir.
people are collecting the waste and burning it because finally it will give rise to ash.
So correct, sir. But yes, sir, it is. I agree with you. But normally, what is happening?
Hmm.
If you burn it in a so huge quantity,
Hmm.
of course, it will kill the all microorganisms that lives in the soil. So that is that will adversely affect. Maybe we cannot be able to see it now, but maybe over the years, maybe 10 years down the line or 20 years down the line, definitely it affects the crop, because the fertility rate of the soil will it will collapse if you
But
continuously
normally if
burn
you
it.
look into even paddy field also, whatever the waste that is left, they are burning it, and they
So now,
whatever the ash that is produced, it will
sir,
be act
earlier,
as the manure.
sir, earlier there used to be, it was not up to this rate. Earlier they used to be use that as a feeder for the animals.
Hmm.
But now, because of this mechanization, there is no animals at all we find. So it is completely going as a for the burning. So earlier it was like a balancing everything, but because of this mechanization, because of the pattern in which the cultivation harvesting takes place, is entirely different now. In this scenario, because of the shortage of the labors and all that, they're simply going with a burning. For example, in the red gram, earlier they used to be there. They were no. I have seen it. They never used to burn it actually. They used to take it for used to have the some kind of a huts and all that I used to see. But today nobody use it. They started also burning in the field itself. So if you started everything burning it, it definitely will have the impact on the soil rate.
Now throughout the field they are not burning. The procedure is that will be collected at a particular point, and
Of
it is
course, sir.
also
Anything.
mixed with the soil, and they have to fire it.
Of course, sir, I totally agree with you. But normally, anything which is burning, which very hazardous to the environment. That is why the policy is in the draft and coming up with a policy that should not burn. So maybe that may take some time, but of course, burning is not the solution one.
Now, with reference to your packaging boxes and tail, you have mentioned flame resistance, thermal resistance. How far it is?
So that can be further. It is in the lab scale. Of course, it is in the lab scale. It is being tested. Normally, in the any packaging boxes, there not be much priority which is going to be given for the uh, f- uh, fire test, right, sir? So it is in the lab scale. It is being tested, sir. So further flame retardancy and all that, for the application, if you come up, then of course it is very rigorously we need to test it. It depends on the applications, I could say.
One question, can it replace the sound absorption material used in auditorium?
That is not a test. So far, I have not done
For
that.
acoustics.
Acoustic
Fibers can
properties.
also be used for acoustics, but
Of course, sir. That can be acoustic properties can increase with a density and thickness. That is what we come out.
there is a question from Anupama Singh. She says, does agriculture waste can be used as biomass and bioenergy with combination of municipal solid waste?
Segregation of the solid waste. I think you are the best person to answer for this. Segregation is going to
See,
be a
all
challenge.
agricultural waste cannot be fed into biomethanation or conversion
Yes,
into
yes.
biomethane. So those agricultural waste which are protein rich in nature can be the best input for biogasification.
Hello.
Any other question?
Yeah. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
This is Naran Gowda. Sir, am I audible?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, sir, I have a question. You have given so many methods for preparation of polymer-based nanocomposite. So mixing, extrusion, hand layout. So all these methods you have written, but I wanted to know which method will be easier for us to prepare the polymer-based nanocomposite. And suppose the well-equipped lab facility is not available in the institute, then how can we do a polymer-based nanocomposite by expanding very less amount of money? So can you suggest, sir, how can we do a
So
polymer-based?
basically, this is not a polypropylene based material. It's a composite material. Of course, it is the method is concerned. It is completely different from the polymer based material. So the synthetic, if you wanted to generate the synthetic biocomposite, is having a different approach. And of course, as was said, there is no single recipe for it. In our own way, our own method, we can be able to develop. The only thing is the reinforcement and matrix is going to be mixed in a certain proportion, and then it is going to be molded with a high pressure and with a high temperature. It can be pressure can be applied and develop the composite material, and then further it is going to be tested for variety of applications. That is how the method which we have incorporated in order to get the complete biodegradable material. So if you go with the other one, of course, it is not going to be 100% biodegradable because it is synthetic composites, we say, because it involves the pulping, extraction, and all that. So that is one apart, sir. But it is nothing to do with the polypropylene material or any plastics.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Hello, can you hear me,
Okay.
sir?
Yes.
Yeah, sir, go ahead.
In that composite, you talked about polypropylene. Are you going to use some amount of polypropylene or
No, sir. No, sir. We are not using so far.
only these biomaterials you are going to compress it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So no polymer is involved in that.
Yes, sir. That's why we say 100% biodegradable.
Okay, okay. If you use some amount of polymer in it, I think you can improve the binding capacity, because once the polypropylene melts and it holds those the reinforcement.
Our objective is to develop a natural composite, sir, which can be extracted from the natural resources to replace complete plastics.
Okay, how about the binding between those reinforcement?
So that is what it
And
is
the
going to be
matrix?
extracted from all the proteins based oil seeds can be extracted and that can be used as a binder.
Okay.
What is the life of this agri waste, agri residue with respect to the conventional material used for various applications?
So far we have not gone through any particular application, sir, because we have used so far we have taken the applications, maybe some boxes and all that, which may not to be studied on that aspect, so we couldn't take up that as a this thing. Probably we can do that.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
Sangamesh, it was indeed an informative session. On behalf of the organizing committee, I thank you for sharing your expertise in this field. So,
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you all.
so dear participants, we will share the feedback session link to the WhatsApp group. So we shall meet tomorrow morning for the day 2, session 1 at 9 a.m. Thank you one and all for your active participation in day 1 of the FDP. Thank you one and all.